Federal agents are flooding the streets of our nation's capital right now. And what they're finding is shocking, even hardened law enforcement. From Georgetown to Columbia Heights, a massive operation is underway that has the potential that has the political establishment in full panic mode. But here's what the mainstream media will not tell you. Behind closed doors, even Democrats are admitting the truth about what's really happening. The president made a promise about Washington, D.C., and he's keeping it in ways that have residents saying things they haven't said in decades. What you're about to see is going to change everything you thought you knew about crime in America's capital, so stay with me. Now, if you're getting close to retirement, or just thinking ahead, you've probably done a solid job of saving. But here's something most people don't consider. How much of that money is just sitting in cash? It might feel safe, but holding too much cash guarantees one thing. You're losing purchasing power. Inflation eats away at it, and the dollar's value keeps slipping. That's why more people are looking at real assets like physical gold and silver. And Noble Gold Investments, they make it easy. Buy gold or silver, have it shipped to your house, or you can have it stored securely. Visit nextnewsgold.com. The number on the screen, 877-646-5347. Give him a call and tell Colin that Gary Franchi said hello. Oh, and my frog just fell off the table. So sad. We will have to do a recovery session for that. But first, we got a lot of news in this segment. A lot to unpack. President Trump at the Kennedy Center today. We have his remarks. But first, I think you might want to hear from this cab driver, a man who's seen firsthand what crime in Washington, D.C. looks like.
Let's make this better. I drove a cab in D.C. I know every inch of the city. To have seen over the years the deterioration of public places, either with graffiti or with people living who are homeless, they say, living on the street. I couldn't be more encouraged by the fact that there are people now that really want to say, stop, let's make this better. I drove a cab in
Let's
D.C.
make it
I know
better.
every inch.
And that's what President Trump is doing. He's also offering ride-alongs to expose crime. He says that the media can ride with Washington, D.C. police to see the crime crisis firsthand, blasting the rigged crime stats, and insists the city's safety is its worst in 20 years, despite the mayor's rosy claims. Listen.
Very, very professional.
Would you encourage members of the press to do ride-alongs with the D.C. police to understand how serious this crime issue
Sure.
is?
It's okay to me if they want to do it. We're going to work with the D.C. police. A lot of very good people in there. Not all, but a lot of very good, very, very professional. And, we have a big force. I think they said 3,500. They're always asking the mayor, who's a very nice woman, but got to do the job. We've worked with the mayor for 6 months, and she's been here for many years. And the numbers are worse than they ever are. Don't let anyone tell you they're not. And the whole statistical charts that they made, the whole thing is a rigged deal. They got rid of the guy because he didn't want to do the numbers the way they wanted to, and they put their own numbers out. They said it's the best in 20 years. No, it's the worst in 20 years. But we're going to be very open about what we're doing. So if the media wants to ride with police, if they want to do it, if they feel it's safe, that would be okay.
If you feel it's safe, would you do it? Should I do it? Crime fight may win the Democrats. Trump says Democrats fear criticism, but crime is 100-0 issue. Predicts even Democrats may join Republicans to make D.C. safe, slamming those calling him a dictator instead of joining his mission to clean up the Capitol.
They should say the Democrats are afraid to do anything because they don't want to be criticized. But fighting crime is a good thing. We have to explain. We're going to fight crime. That's a good thing. Already they're saying he's a dictator. The place is going to hell, and we've got to stop it. So instead of saying he's a dictator, they should say we're going to join him and make Washington safe. But they say he's a dictator. And then they end up getting mugged, and but the stats are very bad. But we're going to I think we'll actually get Democrat support. I really believe they can't do this one too. It's they talk about 80-20 issues. But I think many of those 80-20 issues, like men and women sports, I think it's 97-3, not 80-20. And I think crime is maybe 100-0. So I think we may get very well some Democrat support, but I hope so. But even if we don't, we have the majority, so we're going to vote it in as Republicans.
We got some more from the president's remarks when he vows to fix D.C., promising to make Washington safe, clean, and beautiful fast.
Be prepared. But as I said earlier, I'm determined to make Washington, D.C. safe, clean, and beautiful again. It's going to take place very rapidly. Be prepared. And a big part of that's going to include the Kennedy Center. So thank you very much. And I want to thank everybody for helping us. This is mostly the group right here they're young, they're smart, they're ambitious, they want my job. Someday one of them will probably have it. But we have a great group of people that are putting this together, and they're also helping us with Washington, D.C. We're going to make Washington beautiful. We're going to redo roads. We're going to redo the medians, the pavers, and the medians all throughout the city. We're going to take all the graffiti off. We're going to have to remove the tents and the people that are living in our parks. We're going to be redoing the parks, the grasses and all. We're going to be going to Congress for a relatively small amount of money, and Lindsey and the Republicans are going to be approving it. I don't know about the Democrats. They don't approve anything. It's amazing. It's like they just don't want to vote for anything. They've got the yips, you know, in golf they say the yips. But as I said earlier,
the yips, he says. You play golf? Here he is talking about statehood for D.C., calling it ridiculous and unacceptable.
Ridiculous. Statehood is ridiculous. We want to straighten the place out. Statehood's ridiculous. It's unacceptable. It's the Democrats want it because the Democrats have, you know, about 95% in this little area. Even I didn't get it very much. They want that. They want to pick up 2 senators, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And that's the least of the reasons why, by the way, but that's one of the reasons why. What we want to do is make Washington, D.C., the greatest, most beautiful, safest capital anywhere in the world, and that's going to happen.
It's happening already. Here we have this. MSNBC on Scarborough. Eric Matheny says there are no police in Georgetown because Georgetown is a safe neighborhood. There are significantly more police officers in high crime areas because those are high in crime. I don't get what she doesn't understand.
Ward 8, if
You don't think more police make streets safer?
No, Joe, I'm a black woman in America. I do not always think that more police make streets safer. When you walk down the streets of Georgetown, you don't see a police officer on every corner, but you don't feel unsafe. So what is it about talking about places like Southeast D.C., right? Ward 8, if you will, that people say, well, we need more officers to make us safe. I think we have to rethink what safety means in America.
It's kind of funny how she brings up Ward 8 as if she's admitting that's a high crime area. I'm not sure anything. I don't know where Ward 8 is, but here is Charlie Kirk calling for full military occupation of American cities. Stu Peters is like, WTF on this.
Here's President Donald Trump saying once we liberate D.C., and by the way, I guarantee that it's going to go whoop, it's going to go way down. And then the media will say, oh, it's only going down because he brought in the military. Exactly. We need full military occupation of these cities until the crime desists. Period. We need a desisting of crime in our cities. We're not going to put up with it. I want to be able to walk Magnificent Mile in Chicago without having to look over my shoulder.
He brings up Chicago. Yeah, I'm actually from Chicago, and walking the Magnificent Mile can be pretty scary at night. I mean, we've seen like masses of kids in the summertime just raging through the streets, even on Navy Pier. It's terrifying. But to consider a full military occupation of all the major cities in the country, that would basically be martial law. Is that something that we want? It's not something I've ever advocated for. But is that where we are in this country, that we actually have to implement a level of martial law to get the crime down? I mean, when you have cities like Chicago, Mayor Brandon Johnson, who has anxiety attacks every time he has to, face the music, and he hides in his house for weeks on end because he's having, a mental breakdown, maybe the leadership is gone. Maybe the only leadership you can have will come from Washington, D.C. to clean up the mess. It's a scary thing to consider that this nation has fallen so far that people like Charlie Kirk are advocating for martial law. Okay. Here we have this. This is Scarborough says Trump is right. Democrats in D.C. are privately cheering Trump's moves to crack down on crime. Listen to this.
I will just go back to the fact that the people that are cheering this on privately are not like right-wing Republicans, are not MAGA people. A lot of our friends are in the media, and also Democrats that worked on Joe Biden's campaign, that worked on other campaigns, that are saying, yeah, I'd like to feel safe walking around this city. If the federal government can be a positive partner in keeping the streets safe, while, again, forming a partnership with the D.C. police and not taking over, then at least the people I've spoken with that live in D.C. day in, day out, see this as a positive step.
Wow.
I think it's also
the fact that this is coming from Joe Scarborough. He's presenting it on MSNBC. That's gonna wake up a lot of people that need to be red-pilled to the safety factor that President Trump is presenting into that city. And here we have this. Here's a clip from CNN. I can't tell you how profoundly stupid it is for Democrats to get up with their facts and figures.
And yeah, I think a few things can be true. One is that I think he's using this issue to distract for some other things. That doesn't mean it's a bad political strategy. I think it's a very good one. And the numbers can be what they are, but also people don't feel that way. And when it comes to two things, crime and the economy, feelings don't really care about your facts. And I can't tell you how profoundly stupid it is for Democrats to get up with their facts and their figures and their charts and their graphs and say, look, you're safe. Can't you read this chart, idiots? Why are you complaining? I'm showing you right here how safe you are, so shut up and move along. I don't have to tell you how profoundly stupid that is, because voters told you how profoundly stupid that was in 2024 when Democrats said, see these economic numbers? The economy's great. What are you complaining about? See these crime numbers? Crime's down. You're safe. See these immigration numbers? Obama deported way more. There's no migrant crisis. I can't tell you enough that politics is perception, and the numbers can be right, but you never tell voters they're wrong about how they feel. Congress. Yeah, I think.
Ain't that true? Wow. We've got more here. A brutal question from CNN's Cassie Hunt to Democrat D.C. AG Brian Schwab. Let's talk about D.C. residents for a second, because these are the headlines.
Different from... So let's talk about D.C. residents for a second, because these headlines, and I was a resident of D.C. for over 20 years. I've lived in all but 3 D.C. wards, okay? These headlines are different from when I first came to the city. 13-year-old girl, 13, sentenced to 7 years for 2023 beating death of a D.C. man. Teen sentenced in killing of Lyft driver who came to U.S. seeking safety. This was a guy who was a U.S. military interpreter who was shot and killed in an attempted carjacking, again, by a 16-year-old. Now, juveniles fall under you, and the D.C. Attorney General, Jeanine Pirro, D.C. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, has focused in on this inability that she says she has to prosecute juveniles. The law allows people up to the age of 24 years old to potentially have more lenient sentences from judges. Is that working for people in D.C.?
We've got some more. Check out this guy here. A very peaceful D.C. morning.
I came all the way down Pennsylvania Avenue this morning. So peaceful, yeah. I don't smell no weed, yeah. I don't see no homeless people. I mean, I came all the way through the southeast side, all the way down here. You can see now I'm at the White House jump, man. It's quiet, yeah. It's a shame that it takes somebody to have to sit in your classroom in order for you to be in order, yeah. Because that's what it feels like, yeah. You got to be babysitter to do your job, yeah. Stuff been out of control for years. You got to do better, yeah. You got to do better, yeah. And mainly, young, you got the problems. It's us, man. It's always us giving everybody a bad name, yeah. We'll see how long this lasts, yeah. How many murders was it last night? How many carjackings was it last night? Talk to me. And y'all keep on posting all these data numbers and things of that nature that y'all see everybody else reposting. The stuff that came from the Metropolitan Police Department and the mayor, yeah. Let me tell you something, yeah. Let me tell you something. You can't be that stupid. You can't be, man. Who enters that information to get that data analysis, yeah? People do. You can enter whatever numbers you want to make whatever report show what, but you can't hide the crime, young. You can't do it. Let me give you something to break it down to you for those that don't understand. I retired from UPS, right? So what they used to do to play with the numbers or whatever, we have mission packages. You'll have drivers over the hours. They'd go in and enter the information and the report would show whatever they needed to show to keep their bonus that week for their bosses not to fire their ass. So stop believing that stuff. And I don't know if you ever had to deal with the DC government, young, but they suck, young. They have got a lot more better now that the officers have did what they had to do and got all of these people out of the government and got rid of the riffraff and things of that nature. People actually do work now. Let me give you this for example, right? You got carry and conceals or whatever that were being issued by the DC separate department that was handling the gun licensing and things of that nature. They went from turnaround time for like 4 months, 5 months for you to have to get a gun registered in DC and get a carry and conceal to 2 weeks. It used to take you 3 months just to get an appointment to talk to somebody and take your information and your gun down there. Now, you go online right now and they got appointments available tomorrow. How does that happen? What changed? You put some fire under their asses and now they want to do some work.
The fire is here. President Trump is just cleaning it up all over the place. Here's some more from President Trump at the Kennedy Center on congressional Democrats.
A waste of time.
Do you plan to meet with Leader Schumer and Leader Jeffries to discuss that situation?
Well, I will, I guess, but it's almost a waste of time to meet because they never approve anything. If we want money to fight crime, if we want money to do only good things, just good things. Let's not even talk about controversial. They don't want to meet about anything. They really are. They're stuck. They don't know what to do. They have probably more, I would say more than half are sane, but they are led by insane people.
Do you plan to meet with Leader Schumer?
More than half are sane, but they're led by insane people. Okay, so check this out. A reporter asked about the federalization of the police has only a 30-day limit unless Congress acts to extend it. What does President Trump say?
Your federalization of the police has a 30-day limit unless Congress acts to extend it. Are you talking to Congress about extending it, or do you believe 30 days is sufficient?
Well, if it's a national emergency, we can do it without Congress, but we expect to be to Congress before Congress very quickly. And again, we think the Democrats will not do anything to stop crime, but we think the Republicans will do it almost unanimously. So we're going to need a crime bill that we're going to be putting in, and it's going to pertain initially to D.C. We're going to use it as a very positive example, and we're going to be asking for extensions on that, long-term extensions, because you can't have 30 days. 30 days that's by the time you do it. We're going to have this in good shape, and don't forget, in the border, everyone said it would take years and you'd have to go back to Congress. I never went to Congress for anything. I just said, close the border. And they closed the border. And that was the end of it. I didn't go back to Congress. We're going to do this very quickly. But we're going to want extensions. I don't want to call national emergency. If I have to, I will. But I think the Republicans in Congress will approve this pretty much unanimously.
Did you hear what he said about having Washington, D.C. be a template? Kind of echoes what Charlie Kirk was alluding to about the federal takeover of other cities. So maybe there will be something built into that bill that will allow for the crime bill and the federalization of other cities' police. I'm not sure how the law, I mean, if Congress passes the law, then, you know, that's a little hard to argue with. But of course, there will be lawsuits and people screaming, gnashing of teeth. Here we have this. Christopher Webb says that this is sad. New video shows FBI, MPD, and DEA agents patrolling the streets of Georgetown neighborhoods of Washington like it's some kind of war zone. This isn't a crime emergency. It's pure political theater by Trump. That's what this guy says. But I think the D.C. citizens see this a little bit differently. So you look at them all walking through. I mean, they're just trying to make the city safe again. Have you ever been to Washington, D.C.? Have you ever been there? I know that when I've gone, I have to check the crime stats. And I keep close watch on the news cycle with respect to when, like, police actions happen. It's scary. But now this type of activity is going to squash all that. FNTV bringing us this video. Let's keep going. We got some more for you tonight.
New video just into our...
Here's another resident of D.C.
Really we need all the protection that we can get in the city because the city is really getting dangerous. A person like me at this age, I have to make sure to come home before sundown. We need all...
You have to be home before sundown. How scary is that? God bless America. Here's a Muse posting. Look at this presence. Horseback, full military gear. They are making themselves known. President Trump is not messing around. Here is the DEA headquarters administrator, Terry Cole, talking about how they're going to be embedded with the Metro Police.
On another response, it's not safe. People do not feel safe. The amount of citizens that have come up to me on the street and said, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for taking on another responsibility. We appreciate the federal agents that are out there every single night. And now, starting tonight, we will be embedded with the Metropolitan Police Department. You will see federal agents working hand in hand on patrol with the Metropolitan Police Department. You will also see an increase of activity, patrol activity, in certain sectors to go after the violent criminal offenders that are the drivers of this crime. We cannot afford to turn a blind eye, Martha.
And that's exactly what President Trump is no longer going to let them do. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, this isn't just about cleaning up D.C. It's about reclaiming America's capital from the criminals who've held it hostage. When elderly residents can't walk their own streets after dark, when teenagers get yoga classes for shooting people, right? That's what they're doing. They're getting yoga classes. When Georgetown looks like a war zone, that's not America, that's surrender. Trump's federal intervention proves what we've always known. When you actually enforce the law, crime drops. When you stop coddling violent offenders, neighborhoods become safe again. And even Democrats who spent years calling Trump a dictator are secretly admitting they want to feel safe in their own city. So the real question is this: will they have the courage to support law and order publicly or keep pretending crime stats matter more than dead kids? Now here's my question for you. Should Trump extend the federal control of D.C. permanently? Yes or no? How long do you think it's going to take? And while you're at it, check out our merch shop. Link down below. Show the world that you stand with law and order.